Hi there, my name is Elise Dewsberry. I'm the artistic director at New Musicals, Inc., and we are the producers of the web series So Proudly We Hailed. And I'm here today with Billie Estes, who is the subject of our episode entitled Blood. Now, Billie, you're a retired Navy Corpsman HM1, but you didn't join the Navy until later in life after going through a lot of loss of your own. I understand you and your twin brother, Bertie, nearly didn't survive as babies. Your mother abandoned you when you were only 2. You had a difficult childhood. You were lucky enough to marry very happily, but you and your husband lost a baby girl at only 3 days old and a daughter later to suicide. And then after 20 years of marriage, your husband died of emphysema. And it was at this point that you realized you needed to go to school to support your family, and you went to licensed practical nursing school. Can you tell us how that move, going to nursing school, led to you joining the Navy Reserves, and tell us a little bit about the deployments that came after that?
Okay. I went to nursing school in 1984. It was like 6 years before my husband died because I knew I needed to have a job to support my family. And so I did that. And then I always wanted to join the military. My dad was in the military and my twin brother, Barty, was in the military. And I had to do it before my husband died because if you have 4 kids, they wouldn't let you get in. So I went up there and they came and asked my husband and got his approval. And that's why I joined the military, because I knew I wanted to get my foot in the door. It was stability for me. It was like life, retirement, health insurance later on. And so that's why I joined the military, because I loved it too.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about places that you were deployed?
Well, the first place I went was to South America, and that was back in about 1992. And then I went to Haiti for, I was in Kuwait in 2005. And then they had the hurricane in Haiti, and we was on our way back. So then we went to Haiti on the USS Comfort, and we was there for that. And we went again to Haiti for we went there before the hurricane, 9 months before the hurricane. And then went after the hurricane and took care of him after the hurricane, like 2 days after the hurricane.
Wow.
And then that was the first time I ever saw blood trauma with the buildings falling on the people. And had a little lady on the Comfort, and she says she's looking out there at the island. She said she didn't want to go back because her island was destroyed. And there's 2 parts of Haiti. You got one side that's really, really rich, and the side we went, Port-au-Prince, is really, really poor. Mm-hmm. And so they didn't have anything. So we doing medical care for them and giving medication and doing surgeries on give us comfort and taking care of them. So it was awesome.
That's just amazing, Billie. It's incredible that you were able to do all of that. Now, I understand, after all of that, after 22 years of being in the service, you decided to go to college and you got your Associate of Arts General Studies and an Associate of Biological Science Allied Health. What made you decide that you wanted to go and get those degrees?
Well, I had started back in 89, so it really took me like 20 years to get those degrees because I started before my husband died, and then my husband died, so I even got an F in one of my grades because I forgot to drop out because my husband had died. So that's on my transcript. There's only bad grade on there. But when I came back, I had my the GI Bill, and I was able to use that to get my degrees. So I just went for like 2.5 years, just enjoyed going to college and being around the younger people and just studying. And I love science. Biology is really interesting.
That's
they had
fascinating.
Dr. Corrado and his wife both taught it, and amazing teachers. Made it so interesting. You didn't want to miss a day of school.
Well, that's wonderful.
It was cool.
Wonderful. That's fantastic, Billie. Now, you also are a published author in your own right. You've written the poems "The Cot" and "Aging," which have been published in the Kaleidoscope Book of Poems and Short Stories. And can you talk to us a little bit about?
Okay. Well, in my writing class, we did stories, writing stories, and then I did the poetry. And that the cot just fell right into place. It was just like zip, just it was meant to be. And the other one about aging, it's just like it was kind of fun. It was easier to me to do poems, and so. But I was really surprised when I submitted my story that I got picked. And then working with Angela was like, wow, that was so amazing. It's like. And her writing the music and the songs and just writing all, it's just totally different world, totally different.
I can imagine. So that you found it interesting to hear your words translated. There's lyrics are similar to poetry, but it's a little bit different, and especially once you add the music, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So they wrote the story just really well and just precise. It was really wow. That's pretty cool.
and
Yes.
you mentioned that you were surprised that you were chosen. How did you hear about So Proudly We Hailed, and what made you decide to apply for it?
Well, I had a friend and she posted on a Native Roll 3 page about things for the military. She posted on it that you guys were looking for some stories. And I thought, oh, I'll just try. What the heck? So I just submitted it and I just waited about a couple months and found out Guy Scott called me and told me I had been selected. And wow, I was surprised.
Well, we were very happy, very interested in your story, and very happy to have had a chance to tell it. Billie, I wanted to say you have such an amazingly positive attitude, even after everything you've gone through in your life and all of the tragedies that you've witnessed and had to deal with during your deployments. Can you tell me how it is that you stay so cheerful and lovely all the time?
Life is too short, and you got to look at the positive side of things, and you can't let things get you down, and can't stay down because it will drown you. And writing these stories, I kind of got in a slump about a month ago, and it's because you start thinking about it, and you're like, oh, but it's better to talk about it. And you just in my life, I looked at some of my sisters and see how they handled things. I'm like, I'm not going to be that way. I'm going to go out and enjoy life. I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to do things I want to do and help people and kids out that's going through things. And that was my goal in life, is just to go out and reach out to others and help them survive and know that they can make it too. You got to have that positive attitude, and you got to believe in yourself. You can't give up. You can't. You have to believe that you can do it.
That's
God's always there too.
Well, that's great advice, Billie. Thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to other veterans out there about, a little bit more about not giving up on your dreams and about being willing to seek out help? Because I know that's another thing that is important.
Yeah, it's really important. I think it's really important to join the American Legion. Some of these get involved with other veterans. Don't sit at home by yourself, because you sit at home, you're not sleeping, you're just thinking about all this. You need to get involved, volunteer, get out of the house, go talk, get in a group with the other fellow veterans and start talking about your stories. And I went to a meeting yesterday, and I went, and an individual, there was a group of men, they was all in there, and they was all coming in, they all walked out, and they was all smiling and talking, and it just helps to be around one another and share your stories, because only they kind of know what you've been through and they understand. But the more we talk in the community, and like we're doing right now, it's going to help everybody kind of understand why veterans do act the way they do sometimes, and that they don't want to be that way at all. They don't. They want to be their happy-go-lucky self. But when you go to war, it changes you. It does. And you just have to realize it and work on it. And the family needs to realize that too, that they don't want to be that way at all.
We've heard this over and over again, Billie, with the veterans we've been working with, that the writing the stories, telling the stories, putting the stories out there is actually part of the healing process.
It is.
So we're very proud to be part of that, and so happy that you were willing to share your story with us, and very excited for people to get a chance to see the episode when we launch it, hopefully in a few weeks. So thank you.
That's fast.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Billie, for your service, for your time, and for your love of life, and for sharing all of that with us.
Thank you for having this opportunity for the veterans to be able to share their stories and reaching out to the veterans. So it's been a big help, and I know you're probably going to be doing more too.
As much as we can. Yes, we're very much enjoying it. So, and
you guys have been so easy to work with, and just so comfortable, and makes a difference that you're down to earth. You can talk to you and don't feel ashamed or embarrassed or anything. So
good. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. We do try to make it a nurturing environment so that you can feel comfortable telling your story. So we're glad that's where we got. Thank you so much, Billie.